All right, let's go into the Wayback Machine, because I'm an old, grizzled wine merchant at this juncture. So let me take you back to 2001, and a winery by the name of Castaño released a wine from this area called, Alicante/Yecla, the southeastern part of Spain, which late 90s, early 2000s, no one really knew what the hell that was. Most still don't, but a lot do now. However, at that time, no one knew what the hell it was. All they knew is this Castaño wine came out. It was $9 a bottle, and Rob Parker gave it 92 points and called it an astonishing wine value. And my phones rang and rang and rang and rang. I sold 1 million cases of that wine back in 2001. Castaño got the memo, started making a couple other cuvées. Fast forward to 2003, and they released a wine called Salinas from a separate vineyard that they were farming. And this one caught 93 points, but it had this incredibly high retail price at the time of $20. Still, I sold a shit ton of it. I sold a lot of it. A lot of it. Insanely popular wine. Flew, amazing, da-da-da. Now, fast forward to 2013. Now we're about a decade into the Spanish wine movement, this whole new Spanish wine revolution that started taking place in the mid to late 90s into the early 2000s. And now people are like, okay, Salinas, I've seen it. Yeah, Salinas, been there, done that. Yeah, 2008, 2009 happens. The market starts quieting down. And what happens is Castaño kind of goes, I think we are perhaps making too much wine. I think we maybe have a lot of vineyards. And so let's sell. So in 2013, Castaño sold a portion of their operation to MG Wine Group. Don't ask me who they are. It's probably a long, drawn-out story of like Spanish things and this, that, and the other, and we're not going to get into that. But what happened is this new company, MG Wine Group, came in and they were like, we're going to make some changes. Because what happened is in the last few years prior to the run-up, 2011, 2012, what happens is wineries kind of get a little comfy. Maybe they don't buy new barrels. Maybe they spray a little more to make sure the harvest comes in. Maybe a little less time devoted. The market is soft. Why should we do this? And MG Wine Group came in and said, no, we're making changes. So they bought the property, they bought the winery, and they came in, they started working. First thing they did is they went to organic viticulture, right? So they went all organic in the vineyard, because why the hell would you spray in Alicante and Jumilla? Southeastern Spain. It is hot, it is dry, there's no disease pressure. Perhaps you need to spray because you are watering your vineyards. Womp womp. You shouldn't water your, it's hot. Maybe you want more grapes, right? So they were finding out some stuff that the previous group was doing that they wanted to change. They wanted to go back to dry farm, they wanted organic viticulture, and it was about them making these big, big steps in the vineyard that was going to change what was already a great wine, value wine, even in its more weathered state, winery-wise, and make it even better. So, and that's exactly what they did, man. These guys came in, cleaned up shop. All organic winemaking, they went back to dry farming, they changed the label. Look at that label. Have you seen a prettier label on a $13, oh, did I just say the price? Oh, darn, that was a big reveal at the end, Patrick. I ruined everything. Have you ever seen such a beautiful label on a $13 bottle of wine? Look at that, it's gorgeous, right? The wine ain't too shabby either. This is 100% Monastrell, high altitude vineyards, growing in very rocky, chalky soils. You'll see the pictures in the offer. A beautiful vineyard surrounded by an electric fence because all the local critters love the fruit so much that they literally lose a large portion of the crop just to critters getting in there and taking care of business. I've never seen a vineyard surrounded by electric fence until I went up there. It was really something novel and super cool, and it does, it works. It works really well. Anyway, this wine's 100% Monastrell from 20 to 50-year-old vines, average vine age around 35 to 40 years old at this juncture. Now, the other thing they did in the winery, which is a very basic, super cool winery, clean, does everything it's supposed to do. What they wanted to do is clean up the wood program, because what happens is a little too much new wood was sneaking in, and perhaps a little too much new wood from Coopers that were, shall we say, a little more value priced. So what the winery decided to do, and this is flippin' smart, pay attention, winemaking people, they said, we're going to buy better barrels, but we're going to use them longer. So there's less new wood, but the wood that the wine is in during the aging process is like super bling. So they started working more with tonnelier like Darnajou and Taranceau. These are big names, people. These are these are guys that make wood for $2,000 Burgundies and $500 Napa Cabernets. And this humble little winery down in the southeast of Spain was like, we want those barrels. But we're going to get a few uses out of them. And it's well played. When you go in the winery now, all you see is like, you know, Francois Frère, Raymond, Darnajou, Taran. So you see like these bling barrels everywhere, but they're all 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. Super smart. Long story short, these guys are doing everything right. And the wine follows suit. On my trip to Spain in September, it was a week, 2,000 miles of driving, and this was one of the most impressive under $20 wines I tasted on the trip. This really delivers. And what you're going to get with Monastrell, which as many of you may or may not know is Mourvèdre, right? The French Mourvèdre, what we call maybe Mataro here. It's the Mourvèdre grape. Monastrell or Mourvèdre originated in southeastern Spain and eventually made its way to France into the vineyards of the southern Rhone and Bandol and such. But this is the ground zero, literally the ground zero for Monastrell, Mourvèdre, on the planet, right? And you kind of take notes. Monastrell is really finicky. You pick it too early, it's green and foresty and nasty. You pick it too late, it's porty and puddin'. So you have this short picking window, which requires perfect weather during the harvest, so you can dial that in and get out there and get your grapes at the right point in time. It also loves being head trained in these dry farm vineyards, not a cordon, because you're gonna do shading, but not too much shading if it's a cooler season. You really need great flexibility with Monastrell, and you get that flexibility in a place where the sun always shines, it almost never rains. But you're at high altitude vineyards, so you have cool evenings to maintain that focus and precision in the wine. It's exactly what you get here. You get richness, you get freshness, right? Freshness. I'm starting to sound French now. So freshness. But you get that energy in the wine. We always look for energy. But I like having that nice dark color. I like having a ton of fruit in the wine. I like having that just flowers. There's florals here, and along with that forest floor character, Mourvèdre can give you that real forest floor character. There's a little bit of that here, but it's also florals, that black fruit. You're talking almost like a blackberry, but not Petit Verdot, not that severe. It's an easier black fruit character. I'm not gonna say plum because this wine has perfect ripeness, and plum can indicate over ripeness. So I don't know what you call it. And delicious. The thing that Monastrell does, good Monastrell, Mourvèdre, it keeps your attention on the palate. This wine doesn't get like squirrel on your palate. When you get Monastrell on your palate, the wine hits the palate and kind of goes, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, I need you to pay attention right now. And that's what good Monastrell does. And that's what this wine does. It makes you pay attention when you're drinking it. You're like, and you're like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, of course. And it makes you just kind of stand up and take notice. And it does so, at least for the wines from southeastern Spain, in a very endearing way at the same time. This wine is too easy to drink. It's absolutely gorgeous, just snappy and, yeah. Paella, it goes great with paella. It really does. Greatest paella in the world. Well, the home of paella, Valencia, southeastern Spain. And believe me, I had this with paella, and I did not want to get up. Like, they literally had to escort me out of the restaurant. It was uncomfortable. Sure, yeah, 93 points from Dunnick. One of his greatest wine values of the year, as it should be. Not the hardest call. This is absolutely brilliant wine. $13 a bottle. I know, I already said it. Wanted to do the big $12.98, and kind of blew that one out of the water. $13. What a remarkable wine. 50 cases of it available. This is a cellar saver. You need this in your life. What a treat from the Bodegas Sierra Salinas.